When we say Philadelphia, we think hoagies, cheesesteaks, and of course, fine dining restaurants. I thought I had tasted everything. Today is a new experience for me. Our guest chef, Mary McCabe of Mary's Restaurant, will show us how to make delicious, spicy, and of course, very healthy vegetarian dishes. After looking at her recipes, we are definitely not just making salads. And welcome, Mary McCabe.
Hi.
Welcome to Philadelphia Kitchen.
Oh, thank you.
What is our main course today? Can you explain me what we're doing? I heard you started making those recipes in your own home, and then you finally have a restaurant. When did that start?
1988.
1988. So what is our main course today?
Okay, today we're going to make seitan, which is a wheat gluten, and we can first mix it with this flour, a little bit of salt.
This is the seitan?
This is this is the wheat flour that we would use, and we end up with a gluten like this.
Okay.
And what we will do is we will separate the bran, the starch, and we'll end up with what is called the gluten.
All right.
Okay. You want to? We'll start that now, or we should maybe we should start this deep frying.
Yes.
Okay. So this is your product of gluten after it's been rinsed.
You want to see if this is hot enough, just by maybe?
Yeah.
You think we should throw a little bit of sauce in there?
No.
No?
That's good. Yeah. Okay. So we're going to deep fry this. You don't have to deep fry it if you don't want oil. You can also...
So there is another alternative.
Oh, yeah, there's lots of methods. But
saute it?
For the restaurant, I find it's best to use a little oil because it's more tasty. But if somebody's, healing themselves, which oftentimes people come in the restaurant and they'll say, oh, we don't want any oil. So we have to make things without oil. And we can do that.
What do you use instead of oil?
Water. No
Just
oil.
water?
Nothing.
Would you use wine?
I would use a rice wine, not a regular wine, unless it would be a wine that has no sugar. And we use a rice wine, and that's a sake wine, cooking rice, sweet rice.
How long do we leave those?
And just until they're golden brown. We'll turn them. Once they're cooked on one side, we can turn them. Actually, we may not have to.
No, you might not have to do
this kind of method.
Covering them completely.
Okay. So what we'll do first is we'll mix a little bit of salt in with the flour. You don't need much. And this is sea salt, and we will add some water, and then we'll mix it up, and then what we'll do is make almost like a bread dough. Okay, and it's very simple. We'll have the exact quantities for you later on.
So what do we call this? This
is going to be the dough for the seitan.
All right.
S-E-I-T-A-N.
Okay.
Some people say seitan, but it's not.
Where's seitan from?
The original people that I learned it from was Japanese.
Oh, so do they still use it over there? Do they still use it in Japan?
Yeah. And if you go to a Chinese restaurant and they have a mock meat substitute, then this is really what they're using. Only oftentimes they use like a white flour, and it makes a much harder, firmer consistency. So what you'll do is you'll just knead this, and there's lots of methods, and I've read a lot of them. And the most method I've read that is more... it takes a long time. 20 minutes they'll knead it, And in the old days, I think these women, what they did was they get on the floor on their knees and they would knead it until it was a very hard dough. And then in Japan, they would have no running water, so they would use bowls, different bowls of water.
Bowls instead of the running water to just have the water to rinse it clear every time.
So what you have to do is rinse it. We use just the running water.
Mary, do you think this is done enough? You want to take a look?
Yeah,
what do you think? This fine?
Just a little bit more.
A little longer?
You want to make sure that it's all the way. See, when it puffs up like that, it is good to turn it because the underneath part will get a little more cooked. Maybe we should lower this one.
Okay.
It'll get a little, there. That's good. And then we can take them out. But if you don't wait until they really puff up and are totally golden brown, then inside will still be wet and mucky. Okay? So you don't want that.
And you want them crispy to start, actually. You want the outside to be crunchy. That's how you know when it's ready.
Right. So this is, the idea of this is to really mix it and knead it until it's maybe 20 minutes, 10 minutes is okay for today. Okay. So we can set that aside, and that's what we'll end up with. And then after you rinse it, what you'll do is you'll pretend there's running water. You'll rinse it like this, and then the water is running over, or you could put it into a bowl.
Into a bowl to rinse it.
Like this. Wait a minute, let me get the right one. Something like this. And what will happen is you'll see the starch water will come out. Okay?
Okay.
And then you can use this starch water to make a gravy. Oh, it has lots of uses. You can make it to thicken soups. It's just you can make breads with it. This starch water. And then oftentimes I'll put like a strainer under here when I'm rinsing, and I'll catch the bran.
Okay.
And then the bran can be used in muffins, or we make wheat balls at the restaurant, like mock meatballs, and then you can use that bran. It gives it a more like texture, you know. So there's lots of uses for this.
So this is actually the same thing as this, right?
Right.
And we're going to put this in water.
Yeah, we're going to put that in the water. You can, I mean, the other method is if you want to skip the deep frying, you can directly put it right into that water.
Or you could actually, you could actually do
after you've rinsed it.
Just like boil them in water.
Right.
Okay.
Okay.
Now this water is boiling, I think.
Okay, so let's see if we can quickly rinse this. We have to lift it up. Okay.
All right.
So we have to quick rinse this.
So while she's rinsing this, I'll just check and make sure everything is all right here. Everything stays under control. Mary,
Okay.
I need you.
Here I am.
Okay.
Okay, now we're going to put this in the boiling water, and I'm going to put a piece of kombu.
What is kombu?
Kombu is a sea vegetable, and this also helps. You can rinse it first, take off
like
the excess salt. You know.
Is this like seaweed?
It is seaweed, but I call it sea vegetable. So now let's put this pan on, and we'll start sautéing too. Okay.
All right. You want this on high?
No, medium.
Medium. Okay.
Okay. All right. So let's see all this.
Are you using a different oil to sauté it than
Is there
to?
on the other side?
All right.
We are going to use sesame oil, toasted sesame oil.
Toasted sesame
Okay.
oil.
And you only need enough just to smear the pan. You don't really have to have a dripping of oil.
Okay.
We'll wait till the pan gets hot.
The first oil we used was safflower.
This is safflower oil, and we used a little sesame oil also to cut it, and that gives it a stronger flavor.
Just for the flavor, right?
Flavor, yeah.
All right.
You can do that. And so we're going to sauté these vegetables, and so this is shiitake mushroom.
Shiitake mushrooms.
These
You
are
can find
fresh.
those locally, right?
Yeah. If you get the ones that are curled under, then there's a spore that grows underneath, and these are very medicinal. They're known to cure cancer, like in helping curing cancer. And you want to just cut the little stem off. And then I slice them up like this. Okay, and we're also going to put some snow peas, which have been, you know, sliced in matchstick.
So we have,
and
they're juliennes, right?
Yeah.
Now what is this?
This is a daikon, D-A-I-K-O-N. And this is a wonderful white radish. It has a hot flavor taste, but it's just excellent, especially for helping melt animal fat.
Okay.
Okay, and then this is shallot, okay? So
Shallots I'm familiar with.
yeah, I'm sure. Okay, so what I
So
thought
we have all those vegetables and we're going to sauté those.
Yeah, we'll sauté them quickly.
Do we need a little bit more oil in here?
No, that's enough.
No, that's fine.
Yeah, you don't need a lot of oil. You really don't. Just enough to get, because once you put this vegetable in, you'll see, and a little bit of salt. You can almost sauté without any oil if you need to. And then as soon as you put the vegetable in, then you'll add your salt, okay?
Okay.
Oh, we need, that's it, yeah.
You want a spoon? Okay.
Yeah. Okay?
So can we put the other vegetables too in there?
Just let the onions cook a tiny bit. If you let the onions cook a little bit, you can lower this a little bit, okay?
All right.
And if you let the onions cook a little bit by themselves, and then that element that makes your eyes tear is a very strong quality. You want to get that out before you put the other vegetables in, because if you put the vegetables in with it, then they will get that element extracted into them, and then you still eat that. And you don't really want to eat that.
Can we put the veggies in now?
Yep.
Okay.
Now we'll do it. Okay.
Okay.
We'll mix them around. And then we'll add a tiny bit more salt just to get this going. See, and this will bring out the excess liquid. And that way you don't really need oil, but it's nice to have a little oil.
Do you leave your vegetables crunchy?
Yeah, so that they're not too tough. And
how long does this have to cook? Can we turn this off?
This can cook, oh no, this cooks for a while. This cooks for quite a while. Okay? And see, now they're puffed up. But you want them to cook for quite a while in a boiling method until they're very thoroughly cooked. And then afterwards, we will lower it on a simmer. And then we'll add soy sauce. You can add soy sauce, you can add salt. Generally, soy sauce and salt. A little bit of salt, a little bit of soy sauce.
We're going to have to put the other vegetables in here.
Yep. Okay. But see, since these take a little longer, then I added them.
So the carrots first and the rest of the vegetables take less time, so we can put the other ones in now.
Okay, now I'm going to put the daikon over here.
That's a daikon?
Right.
Okay. And this is the...
This is celery.
Oh, the celery. Okay.
You can use any vegetables you want. And we're going to put some shiitake in here. Going to lower this flame back here. Okay? And we're going to put some shiitake in here. We could put the shiitake here if we want. You know, it's just a choice. Okay?
Now this is the finished product. This has been in there and is in here now.
That's right.
So when can we throw that in here? We saute this with the vegetables? Or we keep it separate?
We could do that.
What do you usually do? What do you do in your restaurant?
Well, I was going to have these separate.
Okay.
But we don't have to. We can serve it all the way.
No, that's fine.
Okay. Okay. And we'll put some sesame seeds. Okay.
Okay.
And we have some scallions. Okay.
So while this is on the stove here and cooking a little bit further, we might be able to see what's happening in your restaurant. And there it is. Mary's restaurant. So you opened up in 1988. Is that you're doing the same thing?
Making
you're doing
bread, yes.
Making the bread. Okay.
Oh, there I am, making bread. We make homemade bread with freshly ground flour. We use or the freshly ground grain, and we use organic vegetables and grain.
Now, what do we put in the plate first?
Okay. Let's put this here first on the plate.
Okay, so we put the seitans first?
Yeah, we'll put this in the middle, and then we'll let that cook for a few more minutes. Okay. So here's the shiitake in here, and also the kombu has become much more soft, as you can see. And you can cut the kombu up if you like, and it's quite good to eat. Full of minerals, and does not taste bad at all. Most people are a little afraid of seaweed. There you go. We'll put this back over here.
Nice presentation, as you can see.
And here we put what we did was we thickened this gravy. You could use your seitan juice from the starch, or you could melt this kuzu, which is what we use.
Kuzu is like a sort of...
it's a starch, and it's a root starch.
Cornmeal, maybe?
Yeah, corn, arrowroot, any of those.
Okay.
Okay, now we'll just add a little of this to it. And here is some cooking sake, mirin.
Okay.
Okay. And we can just take this real quick. Add a little of this to it. Okay. And we can put this right on top.
And if you want to read us the recipe, I can actually finish the decoration of this here. So right, just put a little bit on the side?
Yeah, let's put some here. Okay.
Okay. So we can give people the recipe by now?
Uh-huh. Well, we used 8 cups of flour to make it. Also, it was 3 cups of water and just maybe 3/4 tablespoons of salt. And I'll put a garnish here. That's to make your gluten. And then the vegetables are just, you know, something of choice your own. Safflower oil we used. We also used
some water,
soy sauce,
ginger.
And we have ginger here. We can put a little ginger in. See? On top. Just squeeze it out after grating it.
Carrots, shiitake mushrooms,
celery, scallions,
snow peas, toasted sesame oil, and kudzu. So Mary, no eggs, no butter, no cream for dessert. How do we do this?
Well, we can use maple syrup. We can also use rice syrup if you like. We also have soy milk, and we can use oil instead of butter, or there's a soy margarine on the market that has no preservatives. We can use all those things.
Which oil is this?
This is canola oil. Some people use corn oil. You can use there's various cooking oils you can use.
Okay, we did start this a little bit in advance here. This is apple juice with agar.
Agar they call it. This is an edible sea gelatin. It comes in 3 forms actually. This is like a cake, and this is also flakes, which are just the ground up gelatin form, that is, and then it comes in a powder. But these are more useful. I prefer this. And what you do is first you put your apple juice in, or you can put your flakes in. It's either way. And then you put them together. You don't stir it. The trick of this is don't stir it, but you can mix it a little bit just to get the flakes to go underneath the juice. Okay? Now this has cooked long enough. Usually you bring it to a boil and then you simmer it for about 20 minutes, 15, 20 minutes. If you have a lot, it would be 20 minutes. If you have a smaller volume, then you'd use less. And so we're going to strain this. And when you strain it, you're straining out see that?
Yeah.
Can you see that?
Yeah, the crust.
Okay, that's a...
It
it's
forms
like
a little crust on the top, so that's actually what...
It's almost like a toxin, I think,
Yeah.
is the only way I can describe it. But when it comes from the sea, this must be the part of it that you don't want it. Okay, that's all I know for sure. You just don't want it. So we'll strain that, and we'll be done with that. And now, okay, we're going to add our raspberries. Okay.
The raspberries are on here right now?
Yep.
Okay.
And then we have some unbleached flour, and we're going to mix that into the soy milk.
That's the soy milk right here, right?
Mm-hmm. And we have maple syrup.
Okay.
This is like a third of a cup. Okay.
So the maple syrup goes actually in the syrup, in the...
This is your sweetener.
The sweetener, okay. Goes with the raspberries and the apple juice.
Right.
Okay.
Okay. And maybe you could pass me that whisk. That might work better.
The whisk? Sure.
Okay. Okay, and then what we'll do is we'll mix this in. You have to make sure this really melts into here. The flour is melted into the soy milk. Okay. And then we'll stir it in. Now this gelatin will become more like a mold after it cools. Once it's hot, if it's hot though, it will not gel. But once it cools, it'll gel, and it makes a very nice gelatin. But there's no calories in this either.
No calories except
in
for
the gelatin.
in the gelatin. Sure.
So it's very low in calories.
So we have to actually let this cool off.
Yeah, you'll have to let it cool off, and we'll just let it cook a few more minutes just so that the flour is cooked in. Okay. Now
Did you want a little bit more heat on this? So
no, a little lower.
A little lower, okay.
A little simmer, okay. And then what we'll do is we'll make our almond crust dough.
So the almond crust dough, we did make one in advance, so maybe we can just explain how we did that.
Yeah, what we did is we took oat flakes and some pastry flour, okay, and then the unbleached white flour and some almonds that were crushed, and we mixed this up here.
Make this all together.
And some salt, a little bit of salt.
We'll give you the exact amount of the ingredients too, actually.
And then this is canola oil, okay.
The canola oil.
And
okay. You just mix this together?
Yep.
And that's going to be the crust.
And we needed apple juice. Where's the apple juice? We need apple juice.
You need apple juice in here?
Yeah.
Can we take a little bit of this?
No. No. Anyway, then you mix your apple juice and some maple syrup in here, and you'll make yourself a crust. And the crust will be just like this. Okay.
So we have the crust right here.
Right here. And then after this has become a gel, then you'll pour this into here, and this has baked already, okay? This is baked for 20 minutes.
It's already done.
Right. And then you'll have your shell is like this, and then you put your whole gelatin into here, and we can garnish it. Let's let that cook a little tiny bit more, okay?
Okay.
And then you'll pour this into here.
So you pour this in there?
And then we have a finished pie like this.
So that's
you can put sliced almonds on top. These have been roasted already. They have to be roasted, though.
So that's for the garnish, the roasted almonds and the fresh raspberries extra on top.
Raspberries.
Yes.
And then here is also, you can make a cream out of the nuts. You know, you could use, this is a hazelnut we had used.
So for your crust, you use a cup of oat flakes.
Yeah.
1 cup of unbleached white flour.
Right. And 1 cup of whole wheat
pastry flour.
Here's your whole wheat
2 cups of almonds.
Right.
Teaspoon of sea salt. Teaspoon of cinnamon.
Right.
1/4 cup of canola oil. 1/3 of a cup of maple syrup. 1/3 of a cup of apple juice. For the raspberry cream filling, 4 cups of apple juice. 4 tablespoons of agar. 2 cups of raspberries.
Yep.
Dash of salt. 1/3 of a cup of maple syrup. 2/3 of a cup of soy milk. 3 tablespoons of unbleached white flour. So we got the recipe right there. Now if you want, this is not going to be cold, and it's not supposed to be done. We're going to do it. This should be cold. Takes like a half hour maybe?
Yeah,
it would take about a half hour to cool this to cool this off in your refrigerator.
Right.
Just for the garnish, if you just want to.
You want to pour this in? Okay.
Yes.
You want to make sure you get your raspberries in. Okay. 30 seconds. Okay. And then you would garnish it once it's...
So this is before it's garnished.
Yeah. And then you garnish
So as we can see here, This is still steaming. It shouldn't be like that. It should be cold.
Yeah.
But this is the finished product, and it looks absolutely gorgeous. This is beautiful.
Well, thank you.
Anyway, Mary, thank you very much for coming to the show.
Thank you. Yeah.
What a different half hour this has been for me. Huh? Thank you very much again, Mary. And as always, I appreciate your sharing this half hour with me. I look forward to having you back in our Philadelphia kitchen next week. Thank you very much.
Food Service, the #1 retail employer in America. During the next 10 years, 4.5 million new jobs will be created in restaurants, cafeterias, hospitals, and other food-related industries. JNA Food Service training helps you acquire the professional skills and hands-on experience necessary in this exciting field. In as little as 20 weeks, you'll receive your diploma with the help of our experienced chefs, and you'll be on the road to success. Call JNA now at 215-468-8801. That's 468-8801.